Yeah, a whole bunch of theories here. Detroit out-toughed them, and I figured it would be a messy game because that's the makeup of Detroit's persona. Kansas City, their pass catchers were horrible. 6 drop passes, most of them by all their young guys. Um, I looked at it from a little bit different perspective. They didn't look sharp. They didn't look fast. They didn't look flashy. Now, grant you, there was no Travis Kelce. I thought the route running was really sloppy. I think guys breaking off pass routes, guys nearly running into each other on crossing patterns, 2 guys in the same zone on up and outs. How's that possible? And then I think the intangible thing, Andy Reid's still the coach and he's still X and O's greatness. Eric Bieniemy was not there, offensive coordinator. Eric Bieniemy runs the offense Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. He is on those guys, hard practices, demanding. You look at how sloppy that wide receiver core was in the routes they ran. Not having Bieniemy there, I think, might well be the piece of the equation. I thought they were really undisciplined. Mahomes, all the great statistics we've seen from Patrick Mahomes, in passes to his wide receivers, he was 10 for 22.
Really?
Sub 500 from Patrick Mahomes, future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, that's surprising.
And then there's the issue about the right tackle. Juwan Taylor, free agent, Baltimore, good credentials. He was always lining up off the line of scrimmage. He was trying to negate Aiden Hutchinson, Detroit's pass rusher. Somebody went back and reviewed every snap. He was lined up illegally 36 times.
Whoa.
And the NFL threw one flag right at the end of the game because suddenly Chris Collinsworth was popping up, and the NFL guy who does the analysis work for the network TV said, yeah, that guy's been offside all night. And then finally, somebody must have gotten a message to the NFL referee, throw a flag. 36 times. He was either lined up behind the line of scrimmage so he could get the first step back to block Hutchinson, or he rocked, which you cannot do. Even dumbass talk show host sees that. Or the third thing that he was doing was he'd be in his 3-point stance and he'd move his back foot back before the ball is snapped so he could get out of his stance to block Hutchinson. 36 plays he was doing this, and they never threw a flag. So Kansas City loses, only counts as one. We talked about the Bengals. Steelers look sluggish and slow, really hard to believe. I am surprised that Mike Tomlin did not blow a gasket because they really played well. They don't look like they're running a modern offense right now compared to what everybody else is doing. And Dallas just went up and down the field. San Francisco went up and down the field on them. The Giants 40-0 beating. All those interceptions, 6 quarterback sacks. Dallas was in the backfield with Daniel Jones all night long. And Seattle gets ripped by injuries. They lost their left tackle in the game, their right tackle in the game. They're down 2 defensive backs. Then they lost one of their top receivers, K.D. Metcalf. And Geno Smith didn't. He just looked ordinary yesterday after having such a banner season. So that's kind of the summary of who lost and why they lost.
Well, I want to go and talk a little bit about the 2 quarterbacks that signed the big deals, Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow, and they both lost week 1. So do you think maybe they're feeling that pressure, like they have to perform? I mean, what's your take on that?
Well, I don't think Herbert played a bad game.
Mm-hmm.
Justin threw for 226 and 1 touchdown, and they ran the hell out of the ball. So I think he played possible Justin Herbert football. I think the Burrow thing is all related to the calf and the fact that he got hurt like the second day of training camp, and he was out 4 to 5 weeks, and they finally came back and only practiced a chunk of the last 5 days before the start of the season.
Oh, okay.
So if there's no physical setback, I think Burrow will come back. But they didn't play at the tempo that we've seen Cincinnati play at, where, John, you're on defense, you're on your back heels, and we're coming down the field right now. What are you going to do about that? Yeah. That did not occur in that Cincinnati game. Okay, from